Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome to our YouTube channel, the voice of the African conscious individuals in the world. We thank you very much for watching this show of today, and we thank those who have really subscribed. If you've not subscribed, please hit the subscription button because we need to have a lot more people subscribing to this show. Watch the show, then comment so that we can know what you're thinking. The purpose of this show, as we've always told you, is to give you a voice because we want the African of today to be a conscious African. You see people talking about us. If you're not conscious, you'll not really understand what is happening around you. So consciousness is the central theme of our show. We'll take you back to the African pioneer past. Most people behave like the African pioneer past is a fairy tale. No, it is a period in history that existed when Africa was on top as a cradle of civilization. Then, of course, came the period of slavery, and we lost the paradise. So after paradise loss, we are now trying to regain the paradise we've lost. And that's why consciousness is important. The only way we can get back to where we used to be is by doing a lot of work. We have to become conscious. We have to become aware. We don't just want to eat and sleep. Most people laugh at us. They say Africans are just talking about a past that did not exist. But if we know we had a pioneer past, we need to reconnect, build ourselves up, just the way the Asians have done. We've told you many times on this show that when Africa became independent, most of the countries in Africa, pretty much, most of the countries in Asia also were independent. But today, those countries have really moved forward, while Africa is moving back to the village. We can turn that around. We can only turn that around if Africans become conscious people. We want to take you now so that we take you to the realm of higher consciousness, awareness, so that you can think. You don't just follow the crowd. We have to think, then we'll start being better in technology, the way our forefathers used to be. We want to recreate that past. The only way we can recreate that past is to acquire techniques of production, better techniques of production. If we do that, then we'll get to where we want to be. So that's what we can really tell you. And one of the things that we've done to really start helping our people gain consciousness is, this week, most of you were talking about you have issues with credit. In America, credit is very, very important. So before we get into our new segment, we want to put a little notice to you that we can help people who have issues with credit, because we need to help a lot of you build your credit. And some of you were sending us notices, calling us that you need help with that. In fact, I have a book which I published many years ago, I would say like 4 years ago. This book has a chapter which deals with how you can handle your finances and how you can build credit. Besides, for those who cannot do it by reading the book, we're telling you that you can call our office, then we'll be able to help you to start building your credit so that you can do things like buying a house and getting a big line of credit to invest even in a business. So we're willing to do that. You can see a copy of my book on Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble. If you don't have time to read, we can still help you because we want to help people who don't want any excuses. Some people will say, oh, this book is too big. I don't have time to read it. No problem. Those who cannot read can still call us and we'll help them get ahead. We'll help them clean their credit and they'll be able to qualify for big loans once their scores are very high up. So that's one of the things we've set ourselves to help you do. So please feel free to call us. Check the book out on Amazon.com. If you don't have time to read the book, we can help you. Just call our office, 240-350-1131, and we'll take care of you. For the show of today, the biggest news which we're going to announce is Hotel Intercontinental. This is a very big hotel in Geneva, Switzerland. The story of today is going to really focus on this hotel. Why? Is it an African hotel? Not really. But we're really focusing on this hotel because the big story is the visit of an African dictator called Paul Biya to Geneva, Switzerland, to this hotel. If you've watched our last shows, a few years ago, like say 2 years ago, this individual visited Hotel Intercontinental. And a lot of Cameroonians and Ambazonians went to this hotel to protest against him. We thought this guy should have learned many bitter lessons. Okay? When he showed up at this hotel last week for a private visit, then we asked ourselves, what is really going on? Why did Paul Biya come to Hotel Intercontinental? Human beings, even animals, they always remember where they have problems and they try to avoid it. In fact, when we start talking about this Hotel Intercontinental, the first activist who really gave Mr. Biya a tough time was Caporal Grier. Caporal Grier is an activist who made a whole lot of noise, who woke a lot of guests in this hotel, walking up and down with his back. His name is Emmanuel Kempter. So he demystified the whole image of Biya as a god. He demystified the image of Biya as a god, and Biya became an ordinary person. So people who have been afraid of Mr. Paul Biya lost that sense of fear. Then they knew that, okay, this guy now is an average person that we can toy with. So Corporal Grier, Emmanuel Kempter, actually demolished this myth of Biya as a god. He demystified it. Then after that, BAS, Brigade Anti-Sardinal, a group of activists in Europe, they now organize this first protest against Mr. Paul Biya at Hotel Intercontinental.
Ouais, la fille est complice.
C'est un criminel, on vient de l'arrêter. Comme les autorités ne veulent pas faire le travail, on a notifié le juge. On est là pour lui, il est là.
Ouais.
Il est là.
Il nous a abusé.
Il est là. Il est là.
Il est là.
On est là.
Ouais.
Là, on doit l'arrêter.
Ouais.
So when last week Mr. Biya and his spouse came to this hotel again on a private visit, we started doing some research. Why did this individual return to this hotel after the last visit was a terrible fiasco? For many years, activists in Europe had said, well, we've chased Mr. Biya out of Europe, he's not going to come back. But why did he come back? When you look at the videos we're going to share with you and the pictures we're going to share with you, this time the attack was ferocious. You see water cannons, tear gas. The police, the guys wanted to really do what they call a citizen arrest. They wanted to arrest Mr. Biya physically. That was their goal. Unfortunately, they were overpowered by the Swiss police. They could not really achieve that goal. But you could see that they were everywhere. You had protesters in Cologne, Germany. You had protesters in Geneva. And you also had protesters in France. So you see, there are so many images of protesters everywhere. The plan was, they wanted to make sure that Mr. Biya cannot hide in Europe and go free. They wanted to make sure that they make his trip miserable, okay? And that was their goal, and I think they really achieved that objective because Mr. Biya now is like a fugitive. He's hiding. You could see them drumming and making noise outside the hotel. Then why does he continue to come back to this hotel? And why, for God's sake, did he even return to Geneva on this private visit? Based on the intelligence that we've collected, the first goal is that the octogenarian dictator came to Geneva because he wanted to sign some contracts with Switzerland, okay? Then the second goal of the visit is healthcare. His doctors had warned him that he must come to Switzerland if he wants them to work on him some more. So these are the two reasons. So the guy was really desperate. Even though he did not like to come to Geneva, Switzerland, he was forced because of financial and health reasons to come to this part of the world. Then you guys may ask, you may not really understand, why is Switzerland supporting this individual? That's a question many of you were really raising and asking us. So we're going to answer those questions today. Switzerland is a country. It's a rogue country. Switzerland knows that Mr. Paul Biya is a rogue dictator. He leads a nation that is lawless. Okay? So they know all of this stuff. So why are they putting their prestige on the line to support a callous dictator, a bloodhound? Why are they putting their prestige, their national pride on the line to support this individual? Well, you must understand that countries do not have friends, okay? Countries have interests. So when you look at a country like Switzerland, it's a small country, but you see, it has a history of collecting a lot of money from all parts of the world. When people have money, say in Congo, Japan, where do they hide their money? In Switzerland. So Switzerland is just like a graveyard of wealth, of ill-gotten wealth. If you have wealth that you've stolen and you want to hide it anywhere, Switzerland is a place where you hide it. And you must understand, Switzerland has acquired this reputation a long time ago. Look at even during the Holocaust. Most of the Jews had hidden their money in Switzerland. Eventually, when Hitler started tormenting them and killing them, they lost their money. Most of them died. And what happened to their money? The Swiss government kept this money. So Switzerland has been getting rich off the troubles of other people. Africa too has also met its fate. Most of the African leaders steal money from their country. Where do you think they hide this money? They hide this money in Switzerland. When Mr. Biya comes here, what do you think he's coming to do? He comes to do business. So even though some of the citizens are inconvenienced when Mr. Biya visits, the government feels that's a little bit of inconvenience for its citizens, since Mr. Biya is going to be there just for a short while. He may be there for like a week or a month, but when they look at the kind of money that he brings in, just look at the Hotel Intercontinental. From the information that we gathered, it looks like Mr. Biya's entourage spends at least $40 million a day. So you look at that, for a small country like La République du Cameroun, spending over $40 million a day. The American president doesn't spend that kind of money even when he visits Switzerland. Joe Biden, for example, has visited Switzerland recently. When he met with Vladimir Putin, he stayed in Hotel Intercontinental. But he did not have that kind of big bill to pay, okay? So, but you think that the United States, which is a rich country, can really afford to spend a whole lot to please their president and give him a good stay in Switzerland? No. The person who is really using so much money is the president of a small country where the people are miserable and dying of poverty. He's the one really squandering money from the treasury on these pleasure trips. Then why is it that you think the Swiss are not happy? The Swiss are very happy because he's spending his country's money in their country. He's helping their economy. So even though they don't really care about Cameroon as a friend, because as we've told you, countries don't have friends, they have interests. So it is in the interest of Switzerland to have somebody like Paul Biya stay in their country and squander the resources of his country. That's his problem. It's not their problem. They did not invite him. He wanted to come to their country and spend. So they welcome him to come and spend. It's the same thing the French did once when he went to Bull. If those who remember history. The mayor of Bull was very happy that Mr. Biya came with a big entourage and was overspending. They said, sure, come and overspend. We like that because you are fueling the growth of our own economy and you are killing your own economy. So that's really what happened. So when you start asking the question, why is it that these countries who love democracy are allowing a dictator to come here? They don't really care about dictatorship. They don't really care about the African people. Their interest is to help their own economy do well. So long as the economy is doing well, they are receiving the resources from Africa, all is well. That's how they look at it. So sometimes naive Africans will say, oh, go, Switzerland, why are you being nice to Mr. Biya? They are not just being nice to Mr. Biya, they are being nice to his money. Okay? They are being nice to the obscene amounts of money he brings in, and that helps the economy. Then he banks the money in their country, so it helps the country further. Even look at the first president of La République du Cameroun, Amadou Ahidjo. Before he died, he had left a lot of money in Switzerland. After he died, he could not really collect the money because the money was in the names of so many other people. So he could not collect the money. So this money ended up in the coffers of the Swiss government. So they kept the African money. Ahidjo is not alone. Switzerland has a reputation for taking money from other people. Look at even Sani Abacha of Nigeria. The short time that he was president, he embezzled so much money and this money found its way into Switzerland until the Nigerian government started complaining and complaining. Then they were able to retrieve some of the loot of Sani Abacha. It took a while. They were able to just get just a little portion. And when you look at this country, you understand that since September 11, the Americans came up with what they call the U.S. Patriot Act, which is an act that is against terrorism and money laundering. And you know that a lot of terrorism works because money is moving from one place to another. And a lot of this money is ill-gotten wealth. So the money is like bad money, black money. So they came up with this Patriot Act so that they can control the flow of illicit money. They wanted to make sure that there's no money laundering. But how can this work when a country like Switzerland has a lot of bank secrecy laws? They don't want you to know whose account it is. They will not share this information with you. So even though America has come up with the U.S. Patriot Act and money laundering laws, these laws are not really working in Switzerland because you still have the process of money laundering going on. And when we talk about money laundering, there are 3 steps to the process. The first step, we call it placement. The second step, we call it layering. And the third step, we call it integration. So this is the process that Switzerland uses to receive ill-gotten wealth. With placement, most of the leaders will use fake names, then they will bring this money into the country, either by opening bank accounts, investment accounts. Then they play games to hide the identity of the owners of this money. That's what we call layering. Then after that, the money gets into the stream with the good money. So bad money mixes with good money. And this is what we call integration. Once this happens, you cannot distinguish between good money and bad money. This is what happens in this country now. So Switzerland is really benefiting because the laws of money laundering are not really affecting this country. It's a very rogue country which believes in crime. They collect this money, and they collect big money. We're not talking about a few dollars. No, we talk about big money. So they collect all this big money from most of these cold-blooded leaders in Africa, most of the dictators. If you call any dictator in Africa, where does he hide his money? Switzerland. So let's not just pick on Mr. Paul Biya because he's not alone. Most of the other African leaders are doing the same thing. We're not saying that he is right. We're just saying that it's a common practice. When you look at any African leader, when you study his finances, you find out that he hides a lot of his money in Switzerland. So which is why you see a whole lot of Cameroonians protesting out there. But we're telling them, don't just protest out there. Know what we're telling you now. Learn the lesson. Know that Switzerland is a rogue state. So sometimes just protesting is not going to change. Now you've made people to know that Mr. Paul Biya is a thief, is a rogue. This is good. But the next thing now you want to start doing is do what most of the guys are doing in Ambazonian. Okay? What are they doing? They are taking the law now into their own hands. They are not just protesting, but they are fighting this regime. Because the only way you want to make sure that these people should not be stealing your money, you have to fight the regime. You have to fight the colonial regime. Because the setup here is, it takes 2 to tango. That's the way the dance works. Africans cannot do bribery and corruption alone. They have to work happening. So the only way you can really break this cycle of corruption and bribery is to get rid of these individuals who are perpetuating this bribery and corruption. And which is why when you go to a place like Ambazonian today, the people are fighting for their rights because they know that the only way they can start living as citizens in a decent country is by breaking away and forming their own country where they can have a say in the way the president uses money, where you can have checks and balances. Okay? In America, for example, the president doesn't control the treasury. Okay? He cannot just go to the treasury and collect money whenever he wants. He cannot go to Bank of America and collect money. By contrast, in La République du Cameroun, that's what Mr. Biya does. He and his wife can take money from any institution, any bank that they want, and nobody can even ask them any questions. So that's a sad thing. And which is why you see guys now in Ambazonia, they are protesting in Europe, In addition to the Brigade Anti-Sardinal, you have a lot of the Ambazonian also. We told you they are protesting in Cologne, Germany, they are protesting in France, and they are protesting in Geneva. In addition, this week you're going to see more action in Ambazonia, okay? The pictures are so gory that sometimes we don't even want to show you, but we'll try to embellish them a little bit just to give you a sense of what is happening. There's a lot of action in Ambazonia this week, a whole lot of action.
Yes, today Sunday, early morning, 2021, for the month of July. The buffaloes of Nyonga, they will go on outing. They're picking them for grandpa, they will go on outing for the military stronghold. After last week, they will destroy the military base where we did oversight for Bali Central. This week, they go for military stronghold. I think them this way, they bring them back. You will see from helmet, from the list, even their ID card, we don't take at all. Grandpa picking, they don't take at all. They don't take one AK, they don't take two M23, and they take one Mark 4. You see them. Self helmet. If I say for life or bring head, we for bring them. If we for like, now for bring the hand, we for bring them. But we only take the ID card, we will picture them, have picture for them. Yes, that the ID card and this, or that, that they see them. That they have picture this, that they cap them this. So today now they walk for the Bali buffaloes under the leadership of Grandpa. Yes, we salute all the soldiers, them very well, where they will lead this mission. And we will show you a video for the action, how it will take place right at the scene. Bali buffaloes, oh yeah? Bali buffaloes, oh yeah? Woman, you boy, oh, I talk lie. Yeah, the grandpa picking them. Oh, no, be grandpa picking them. Na fine work. I cover the grandpa.
The Ambazonian Restoration Forces are getting weapons every day, and they are becoming more and more lethal.
Good afternoon, fellow Ambalanders. We would make a video now from Pinyin. Now small harvesting this we don't do on this morning. Today we are boys we don't come on for mission. Date of training away.
14 July.
Date of training 14 July Wednesday. We just come out.
2021.
Yeah, any man fit talk. We address.
Operation start take place around 8 o'clock.
Now the phone that pick them.
Now they are back draw. They are draw pa.
Now Kuro the talk. Now see what.
Hello?
Now see what work they will don't go come. Now the hot afternoon the sharp so.
FM free marshal.
That's what we able to do every day, and with make this video with one Ambazonian people them. Some them support the show when I forget for the day of the Republic.
Now hey there are Kuro picking the wrong court abo can show you say. You just say they are
No, when I hope the old man see the thing and fine. I hate with this. Number one.
When they started their revolution, they were just working with machetes and Dane guns. But right now, they are killing and neutralizing the forces from La République du Cameroun and taking very good weapons. So this week also shows you a lot of weapons that have been seized. You can even see a police vehicle, which was on patrol. Most of the soldiers who were inside were killed, and they took all their weapons. And you can see pictures of the harvest. A lot of weapons, okay? AK-47s and many other weapons. These guys took all these weapons away. And so that's how they have been building their arsenal, okay? They don't really have a lot of money to buy weapons, so now they're just getting weapons for free. So they are taking weapons from the enemy, and they are using these weapons. So when you look at this, you say to yourself, one of you guys asked me the other day, Prince Ojong, do you think the Ambazonian can win this revolution? I say yes. I'm a master of history. I've studied history very well. The way things are going, it is a war of attrition. The Ambazonian Restoration Forces are breaking down the spirit of La République du Cameroun. So right now, the soldiers don't really have the stomach to fight. So sometimes they just give up their weapons. So when you ask me, how easy is it for the Ambazonian Restoration Forces to collect all these weapons? It's not really easy. But another thing that is also contributing to their facility is they know how to ambush these soldiers from La République and take away their weapons. And they are doing this now with joyful abandon. So you can see a whole lot of the weapons, okay? When we see these weapons, we really feel bad because sometimes when they kill any person. But we're saying, most of the soldiers from La République, they need to learn a lesson. Why do they continue going to Ambazonia? For God's sake, I don't know. we will think that they will be smart enough to say, okay, let me just defect. Some of them are defecting already. So it behooves them to learn from their peers. Run, run, run. We know you cannot go back to La République du Cameroon, they will kill you. So you can run to Nigeria or any other neighboring country, then take the way to Europe or any other place. Because don't stay in Ambazonia, because Ambazonia now is hell. It's an inferno. They are killing all these La République soldiers and even the black legs. They are killing them too. So the fire is really burning. Then even sometimes you see some of the police posts or the soldiers' buildings, like a building that they are using, a school that they are using as an army camp. The Ambazonia guys just want to burn that building. So there's no way that's really safe for soldiers. Whenever you're a soldier and you come to Ambazonia, the restoration forces know that you are not an angel. You are there for a deadly mission. Your mission there is to kill. So the first thing they do is they want to kill you. So if you don't know this as a soldier, be warned, because so many of you are losing your lives already, and we tell you to be very, very careful. So when we look at this, we say to yourself, what can you do? Think. If you value your life, then this is the wrong place to be. So we think we've covered a whole lot for the show of today, which has just focused on Mr. Biya's visit to Switzerland. We have a lot of pictures and videos we can share with you, and we think you can really watch these videos. There are so many videos that we just don't know. Just watch so many pictures. It's just like a movie. We've told you why he's there, so you can learn lessons, okay? But we feel sorry for traders in Yaoundé, in a place called Mvok BC Market. There was a fire, and a lot of the merchants lost over 500 million of their properties. Everything is just down. What caused the fire? We think the Mvok B fire was caused by probably an accident. The buildings probably were not really of good quality, so any fire can really damage everything. So there are a lot of losses, and we feel sorry for our people whenever they lose their property. So we feel sorry for them. They are not part of the government, so you cannot really be angry with them. These are people who are making a living, and they are struggling to make a living every day. So we have to feel sorry for them, okay? We think this is as much as we wanted to share with you for the show of today, but we also want to let you know what is happening in South Africa, because before we end, we want to take you to South Africa, where people are protesting because of former President Jacob Zuma. But at least the rule of law is prevailing. Mr. Zuma has been given the opportunity to appear in court again. So we think the rule of law is really doing well in this part of the world. So we thank you very much for watching our show of today. We have a lot of videos, but we're encouraging you to continue subscribing. Some of you are telling us that you're subscribing. We like that. If you've not subscribed, this is your opportunity now to subscribe. Please hit that button, subscribe, so that we can have more numbers, so that your voice can be heard all over the world. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Is your EMR EHR COVID-19 ready? If not, you do not know what you are missing. Why do you suffer in silence? Be smart. Turn to Alexia HTC today. Alexia HTC is the leader in virtual solution and communication technology in these times of pandemic crisis. When the unexpected happens, who are you going to call? Alexia HTC. Come and see how Alexia HTC Cloud Communications are enabling your fellow healthcare providers to consult with patients virtually and making big money. Alexia HTC also enables your employees to work remotely during the COVID-19 crisis. Are your employees safe? Do not jeopardize the health and safety of your patients and practice. What can Alexia HTC do for you? Alexia HTC is the new Colossus, the sister of physicians, who gives you back liberty, that is, the freedom to practice medicine your way. Vivacious virtual visits wherever you please. Amazing e-prescribing. Quick access to patient information. Easy access to medical records from other providers. Rapid drug allergy checks. Integrated lab tests and results. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled doctors yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your greedy corporations. Send these, the homeless, tempest-toast physicians, to me. I give them the refuge, the happy home of Alexia HTC. Act now. Browse alexiahtc.com or call 240-350-1131.
Medical practice software is too old. Indeed, all the programs are built on MUMPS, technology of the 1950s, and the programs cost too much money. Epic and Cerner cost billions of dollars. Meditech costs thousands of dollars too. In fact, that's why we created AlexiaHTC.com, a new and free EMR/EHR for doctors. AlexiaHTC.com is built for HIPAA. Yes, magical one-screen technology, ease of use, quick charting, amazing e-prescribing, tight labs integration, multi-office difference, because we believe doctors and patients need a break today. Be the first to test drive AlexiaHTC.com. You have nothing to lose, you have everything to gain. Act now. Call 240-350-1131. Alexia Care Corporation at AlexiaHTC.com. Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.